Have you ever had one of those times where everything seems to be spinning out of control? You're going 80 miles an hour, but the world is going 120. I seem to have a lot of those. But then I hear the words of Psalm 46:10. He says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." When the Creator tells me to be still and to remember who's in charge, suddenly there is peace in the middle of the storm. So take a deep breath. Keep breathing. Thou shalt be okay. If Job had a weakness, it was his tongue. He talked excessively. Not that you could blame him. After being hit by calamity, there wasn't a wall standing in his house or a loved one living. And his wife, the empathetic soul that she was, had some not too wise advice for him in Job 2:9. His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." Then his four friends with the bedside manner of drill sergeants told him he had probably brought all of this trouble on himself. And so we're 37 chapters into the book of Job before God spoke a word. Chapter 38 begins, "Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm." What did God say to Job? He said, "Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footings set? Or who laid its cornerstone? While the morning stars sang together, and all the angels shouted for joy. Who shut up the sea behind doors when it burst forth from the womb? When I made the clouds its garment, and wrapped it in thick darkness? When I fixed limits for it, and set its doors and bars in place? When I said, 'This far you may come, and no farther. Here is where your proud waves halt.' Have you ever given orders to the morning, or shown the dawn its place, that it might take the earth by the edges and shake the wicked out of it? The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. The wicked are denied their light, and their upraised arm is broken. Have you journeyed to the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been shown to you? Have you seen the gates of deepest darkness? Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Tell me if you know all this. What is the way to the abode of light, and where does darkness reside? Can you take them to their places? Do you know the paths to their dwellings? Surely you know, for you were already born. You have lived so many years. Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail, which I reserve for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? What is the way to the place where the lightning is dispersed, or the place where the east winds are scattered over the earth? Who puts a channel for the torrents of rain, and a path for the thunderstorm, to water a land where no one lives, an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland, and make it sprout with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens, when the waters become hard as stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen? Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? Can you loosen Orion's belt? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear with its cubs? Do you know the laws of the heavens? Can you set up God's dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with a flood of water? Do you send the lightning bolts on their way? Do they report to you, 'Here we are'? Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the heavens, when the dust becomes hard and the clods of earth stick together? Do you hunt the prey for the lioness, and satisfy the hunger of the lions? when they crouch in their dens or lie in wait in a thicket? Who provides food for the raven when its young cry out to God and wander about for lack of food? Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch when the doe bears her fawn? Do you count the months till they bear? Do you know the time they give birth? They crouch down and bring forth their young. Their labor pains are ended. Their young thrive and grow strong in the wilds. They leave and do not return. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied its ropes? I gave it the wasteland as its home, the salt flats as its habitat. It laughs at the commotion in the town. It does not hear a driver shout. It ranges the hills for its pasture and searches for any green thing. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Will it stay by your manger at night? Can you hold it to the furrow with a harness? Will it till the valleys behind you? Will you rely on it for its great strength? Will you leave your heavy work to it? Can you trust it to haul in your grain and bring it to your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich flap joyfully, though they cannot compare with the wings and the feathers of the stork. She lays her eggs on the ground and lets them warm in the sand, unmindful that a foot may crush them, that some wild animal may trample them. She treats her young harshly, as if they were not hers. She cares not that her labor was in vain. For God did not endow her with wisdom, or give her a share of good sense. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at horse and rider. Do you give the horse its strength, or clothe its neck with a flowing mane? Do you make it leap like a locust, striking terror with its proud snorting? It paws fiercely, rejoicing in its strength, and charges into the fray. It laughs at fear, afraid of nothing. It does not shy away from the sword. The quiver rattles against its side, along with the flashing spear and lance. In frenzied excitement, it eats up the ground. It cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. At the blast of the trumpet, it snorts, "Aha!" It catches the scent of the battle from afar, the shout of commanders and the battle cry. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom and spread its wings toward the south? Does the eagle soar at your command and build its nest on high? It dwells on a cliff and stays there at night. A rocky crag is its stronghold. From there it looks for food. Its eyes detect it from afar. Its young ones feast on blood, and where the slain are, there it is. The Lord said to Job, "Will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him." I'm sure if God was having that discussion with us, I'm sure that we would all be struck silent. Our mouths would be hanging open, and we'd be going, ah. Job was. And in humility, after God got through speaking, we read in Job 40, verses 3 and 4, "Then Job answered the Lord, I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth." Notice, before he heard from God, Job couldn't talk enough. But after he heard from God, he couldn't talk at all. The best Job could do on his own was to utter these words that we find in Job 13:15. "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. I will surely defend my ways to his face." Well, at least the first part was good. He will continue to hope in him. The rest, not so much. We can't defend our ways to God. Sometimes the best way for us to handle our problems is to trust God and not talk, to submit and not speak, to be still, and to recognize God for who he is. Job didn't know it at the time, but God's plan was to give him twice as much in the end as he had lost. And it happened that when he stopped focusing on his own problems and started praying for his friends, that all that began to happen. We see in Job 42:10, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes, and gave him twice as much as he had before. So when the storms come, be still. Be open and willing. God is still on the throne. He is in control of every detail of your life. Even in the worst of circumstances, He has your best interests at heart. Remember the words of King David when he says in Psalm 138:8, "The Lord will vindicate me. Your love, Lord, endures forever. Do not abandon the work of your hands." And remember these words from a little boy whose Sunday school class memorized the 23rd Psalm. On a Sunday morning during worship, each member of the class was paraded in front of the congregation, and one by one they recited that beautiful psalm. When the little boy's turn came, he was so nervous. But he started well. "The Lord is my shepherd." And then he froze, unable to recall what came next. But he rallied, and with a strong voice he cried out, "And that's all I need to know." God is in charge. That's all we need to know. So be still and know that He is God. I hope you'll join us this Sunday for worship at the Village Church. Our service times are at 9 and 11 a.m. And if you can't join us in person, please worship with us on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel at the Village Church at World Golf Village. Have a great weekend, and remember, God made you, God loves you, and God is in control. So be still and know that He is God. I love you.